Yadidaham te vyavasitam Hridi rajanya balaka tat prayachami bhadram te durapamapi suvrata. Translation. The personality of God had said, My dear Dhruva, son of the king, you have executed pious vows, and I also know the desire within your heart. Although your desire is very ambitious and very difficult to fulfill, I shall favor you with its fulfillment. All good fortunes unto you. Purport. The Lord is so merciful to his devotees that he immediately said to Dhruva Maharaj, Let there be all good fortune for you. The fact is that Dhruva Maharaj was very much afraid in his mind, for he had aspired after material benefit in discharging his devotional service, and thus this was hampering him from reaching the stage of love of God. In Bhagavad Gita 2.44, it is said, Bhogashwarya Prasaktanam. Those who are addicted to material pleasure cannot be attracted to devotional service. It was true that at heart Dhruva Maharaj wanted a kingdom that would be far better than Brahmaloka. This was a natural desire for a Kshatriya. He was also only 5 years old, and in his childish way, he desired to have a kingdom far greater than his father's, grandfathers, or great grandfathers. His father, Uttanapada, was the son of Manu, and Manu was son of Lord Brahma. Dhruva wanted to excel all these great family members. The Lord knew Dhruva Maharaj's childish ambition, but how was it possible to offer Dhruva a position more exalted than Lord Brahma's? The Lord assured Dhruva Maharaj that Dhruva would not be bereft of Lord's love. He encouraged Dhruva not to be worried that he childishly had material desires and at the same time had the pure aspiration to be a great devotee. Generally, the Lord does not award a pure devotee material opulence, even though he may desire it. But Dhruva Maharaj's case was different. The Lord knew that he was such a great devotee that in spite of having material opulence, he would never be deviated from the love of God. This example illustrates that a highly qualified devotee can have the facility of material enjoyment and at the same time execute love of God. This, however, was a special case for Dhruva Maharaj. End of purport. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas so that I can use today's lecture to purify myself. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'm going to read from a lecture given by His Holiness Bhakti Vinod Swami Maharaj. Please pardon me if I add my own interpretation to the sum. So, Dhruva Maharaj is continuing his prayers to the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj was just a 5-year-old young boy, but he is an example of great determination and sadhana, right? So, all devotees are performing some form of sadhana bhakti to achieve something. But Lord Chaitanya said, what I don't want, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, like this he says in Shikshastra. So, he was very sure what he did not want, right? And he was also very sure what he wants. So he says, Mam janmani janmanishware bhavtad bhaktir ahetuki tvai. In the same Shikshastra compares, he said that birth after birth, I want the devotional service, right, of you. So It is one thing to know what you want. Practically everybody knows what they want. But it's another to know what you don't want. Right? Problem is, we know what we want, but we don't know what we don't want. And this is why we keep looking for things everywhere. We keep scrolling social media sites, internet, right? And it's a subtle things. And it's a subtle thing, and many sadhakas struggle with this. Now, for Dhruva Maharaj, Lord came face to face, and Dhruva Maharaj was able to realize his mistake, that he does not want any more the great kingdom better than his father and grandfather. And this was a result of his sadhana, right? Dhruva Maharaj says that I came looking for broken pieces of glasses, but you have given me diamond, right? So balancing our wants is to know what we want and also to know what we don't want. Then we recently heard the Bali Maharaj pastime. Vaman Dev's appearance there was last Sunday. So there also the same thing happened. Even though Bali Maharaj had darshan of Vaman Dev face to face, and he washed his feet, and he was ultimately blessed by him after the Vaman Leela. But Bali Maharaj awarded him Sutala planet, and then also said that in the next Manvantara, you will be the Indra. Now, Lord knew the desire in his heart to rule over the heavenly planets. Now, Bali Maharaj, after taking darshan of Lord and after seeing such a beautiful Vaman Leela, may be thinking, what will I do of heavenly planets after taking a darshan? But since he had the desire, Lord anyways granted it. So the lesson here is that we should be very careful what we wish for, right? Even when we go to temple and we may be going with some desire in heart, and even if we don't tell anybody, even if we don't share with the Lord, He knows because He is sitting in our heart as Paramatma. Now, so basically, we need to be careful what we wish for. Next lesson from these verses is very important lesson is importance of sadhana, right? So Dhruva Maharaj achieved this perfection by virtue of his sadhana, and he followed the instructions of his guru and mother perfectly. Let's see some other examples of following the instructions of gurus and doing a perfect sadhana. So Arjun is a great example. He used to practice very hard and he used to learn everything perfectly that his guru Dronacharya taught him. Dronacharya put him through several tests, and Arjun will come out successful in each one of those. One time he instructed the ashrama people where these princes, the prince were staying. He told them that give dinner to Arjuna with the lamp turned off. In other words, let him eat in the dark. So Arjuna was able to understand his guru's mind that my guru is trying to teach me to shoot an arrow in the dark. So then after that, he will practice shooting at night. And that's how he got the name of Budakesh, means one who practices in the dark. So Dronacharya was giving him these instructions because he was able to take this up. And Dronacharya knew that Arjuna was capable of following these instructions. So if you want a high level of education, then you need high instructions. Then we look at another example of this is our own Srila Prabhupada. His guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, gave him a very difficult order. Go to the West and preach, because you can preach in that language. Now imagine somebody who has lived in British India, who has seen the poverty and difficulties, and he gets an order that he has to travel to Western countries and preach, and he does not have the resources, he does not have any help. So Srila Prabhupada used to think, how difficult this task is. And it took him a long time to contemplate and make up his mind. Where should I go? What should I go? He will wonder. But since his guru ordered, he took it seriously and sincerely executed. Right? And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had the faith in him that he has the capacity to carry out my order. That is why he did not give that order to any other disciple, but to Srila Prabhupada. And how did Srila Prabhupada did it? He practiced the Shikshastikam words, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnata. He became very humble. He used to pray at the samadhi of previous acharyas and cry for their mercy. How will I follow this order? This is so heavy. And he will cry at the samadhi of Rupa Goswami. Please bless me. Please, so that I can execute my Guru's order. So this is a wonderful sadhaka. This is an example of a wonderful sadhaka who realized what is needed to fulfill the orders of his Guru. Same way, we see that Dhruva Maharaj actually did what was required as per the instructions of Narada Muni and his mother. He did not think this was possible or not possible. His mother told him, you have to pray to Narayana. And he asked, where should I pray? So she said, the sages go to forest. So you should also go to forest. So he went to forest and meditated until Narayana came in front of him. So we must ask to ourselves why this is not happening to us, right? Why are we practicing bhakti in real essence, or are we just artificially practicing? So Srila Prabhupada also used to say that Krishna and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati are always guiding me, right? So we have instructions in form, but Prabhupada followed the instructions in its true spirit. So we should know the inner substance of the instructions. We should follow the substance in the sadhana, not just the form. So for example, your initiated name, your kanthi mala that we will wear, the tilak, the Vaishnava clothing, these are all examples of form. These are the form of a devotee. But we must fill the form with substance. That is when we seriously understand the instructions of Srila Prabhupada and can execute with manasa, vacha, and karmana. Most people in this world are absorbed with the form. So you may think I am a devotee, but inside you may struggle with so many things. That is why at the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, a highly qualified devotee can have the facility of material enjoyment and at the same time execute love of God. So Srila Prabhupada is very clearly saying what kind of devotee can have it. Because he knows that it's very difficult for others to not be bewildered by material opulence. Actually, it is said that in the age of Kali, people have short lives, they are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all disturbed. This is mentioned in Bhagavatam 1.1.10. So, having known all this, Srila Prabhupada made his instructions very direct and precise because he knew people will immediately find a reasons not to do it. So, we should take these instructions and reflect on our sadhana. What am I doing? Why am I doing? How can I improve it? If you're too much on the form, you will have false ego and arguments, right? We should look for the essence. For example, a honeybee, when it goes from flower to flower, all it looks for is if there is a nectar on the flower or not. A flower may be very beautiful, but if there is no nectar, honeybee is not gonna stay there. So honeybee is Saragrahi, or the capturer of the essence. Same way, the devotees have to be Saragrahi. They should look for substance and not form. And this is what we see in the example of Dhruva Maharaj. So we should introspect our sadhana and follow the instructions of previous acharyas sincerely. Then Krishna will be in front of us, just like he came in front of Dhruva Maharaj. But we should remember that this is not the goal of our sadhana. The goal is to not make Krishna appear in front of us. Because Krishna was actually present 5,000 years ago in his original form. But despite that, so many people could not recognize him. So, what our goal should be, the goal of devotional service should be to get Krishna prema, right? Then, when Krishna comes in front of us, we will be able to recognize him and experience the prema. So, Dhruva Maharaj has not come to know. So, after seeing Lord, Dhruva Maharaj came to know everything, all the different layers and nuances of what real bhakti is. So, we should take this lesson from these pastimes and pray that we can develop Krishna prema. With this, I would like to end. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhya ev cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavibhyo